Let's get some lighting up in this joint over here. This isn't gonna take too long. Scout's honor. Oh, that's fast. 4 people already online. How's that look? Okay, let's see. All right. I apologize, everybody. I just got out from a nap. I was in a food coma. Don't know why I told you that. But now you know. So I'm kind of out of it right now. I think today is going to be a short one. I'm going to have a short stream today. Yeah, I wonder why I can't find this stream. It says it's offline. A sec. It says it's on. Yeah, well, I love you too. My day is going pretty good, everybody. I'm doing pretty good. I'm just really tired. Just got out from a nap, so I said I was gonna have a stream this early, but I don't know. Sometimes you just get worried about what to talk about, and you just don't know what to talk about. Let's do this. So, I really don't have anything on the docket right now. I guess I could talk about the collaboration project that I set up. So if any of you have seen my latest review, I'm planning on having a collaboration. So any filmmakers, artists, animators, you name it, you're welcome to recreate a scene from Steamboat Willie, as long as it's not taken. There are a few scenes that people want to animate or they want to film that are very iconic. Some people don't really have a preference, so they don't really care as to what it is I'm going to be talking about. But, you know, you're more than welcome to join. I have till October for everybody to sign up. And then November is when I plan on actually finishing everything. And that's kind of just been my plans right now. So, Gaming Ghost Infinite asks me, have I ever seen Disney's The Great Mouse Detective? Yes, I've seen Disney's Great Mouse Detective. I haven't seen it recently. I would like to see it again. I have fond memories of that film. I mentioned it in one of my videos that you can search right now. My top 5 favorite silly Disney villains. I put Ratigan on that list. I think Vincent Price's portrayal of the character Ratigan is to be very entertaining. It was very entertaining when I saw it. The movie itself, very action-packed, and I wouldn't say as action-packed as Robin Hood as far as like action in Disney animated films go. I'd say it's up there with Zootopia. Zootopia having a lot of action for a Disney animated film. I was reading that Wreck-It Ralph 2 has some action in there too, so I'm looking forward to that as well. So yes, I've seen Great Mouse Detective and I'd like to see it again. What would happen if The Last Airbender 2 would have come out? I'm pretty sure that everybody would be scratching their heads as to why it would be coming out. It would kind of be like the Johnny English movies, whereas the first one wasn't good, but yet they still managed to make Johnny English movies. Maybe there's some shady Russian, you know, I don't know why it has to be Russian. I guess some sort of criminal underground backing of this project who wants to see these movies made. Maybe Shyamalan makes a deal with the devil to get this movie made. I don't know. Maybe we find out at the end of Glass there's going to be a Last Airbender 2. Who knows? World will be freaked out, but mostly out of confusion. Why does this thing exist? I think it would be even more confusing if it was called Last Airbender 2 and it was just a live-action Legend of Korra film. That would throw people off. It'd be kind of funny. Clint Lamberson asks me, am I going to review Shrek 3 and 4 this month? No plans on reviewing it this month. If you haven't noticed, my reviewing schedule's kind of just been laxed. I think ever since the soft reboot video that I've made, I've kind of just been doing things as they go. I'm kind of in a place where I'm still trying to figure things out where the show's going to go. So, okay, if I review it, I review it. If I don't, I don't. You know. I guess it really depends on what people want me to do, and it really depends on what I want to do, honestly. You know. So yeah, maybe not. I don't know. Seems like it's gonna rain today. Gaming Ghost Infinite asks me, have I ever seen Over the Hedge? Yes, I have. Over the Hedge, the DreamWorks animated film with Bruce Willis as a talking raccoon, based on a comic strip, I believe. I've seen that a couple years ago, and I thought it was pretty entertaining. Or at least I thought it was funny. I liked it. I mean, I haven't seen it again recently. I did see the scene that inspired a scene from X-Men Days of Future Past, where Quicksilver goes really fast. There's a scene in Over the Hedge where the character played by Steve Carell goes super fast. So people have talked about, you know, X-Men ripping off Over the Hedge, when in actuality I think they all ripped it off from Futurama when Fry drinks 100 cups of coffee. Just me. Let's see what else we got. Creeper Picker? That's probably what it is. How do you think Disney's going to get Mickey's copyright back 10 years from now? Good question. They'll probably put an extension on the copyright they already have on Steamboat Willie. Someone mentioned in the comments section, I'm glad they brought it up too, because Disney's copyright over Mickey is interesting. I'd say over a certain amount of time, character enters the public domain. However, I think because Mickey Mouse came out at a time when copyright laws were, I guess, being reintroduced. I mean, there's a whole legalities to it that I don't really understand, but bottom line, Mickey Mouse isn't in the public domain yet. People are saying in the next 100 years he should be in the public domain. I have a good feeling that Disney's going to keep that from happening, and we'll see. Who knows? I'm not a lawyer, so I don't know. Not so Cartoon Caleb. I think how you doing, by the way? I think the point of asking a question for it to happen is to just see where it goes. It doesn't matter if it does or doesn't happen. People like to have what if scenarios. So, you know, I don't think a Last Airbender 2 will ever happen, but it would be funny if it did. Just like I said, a lot of confusion, a lot of head scratching. Why does this movie exist? Let's see here. Not the Chosen One says, what's the deal with airline food? That's a good question. Have you been on an airline recently? Because I haven't. I guess you could say I'm too poor to afford it. So I wouldn't know. But it's food in the air. I guess that makes it special. So I guess that's what's up with airline food. I guess you can't say what's down with airline food because it'd be down on the ground. Yeah. Hooded Spider asks me, have I ever seen Star vs. the Forces of Evil? I have not seen Star vs. the Forces of Evil. I have plans on seeing it though. It's on Hulu, so I'd like to see it there. It's interesting because this show came out after Gravity Falls. Correct me if I'm wrong. And it's kind of developed a fan base that's kind of rude with it. It didn't really come out. The show really didn't come out strong right out the gate, but it kind of developed its fan base over time. So I would like to check that out. But like most things, I'm busy with life. I'm busy with work. Just gotta fit in my schedule. We'll see. So I'm glad somebody brought up Funko Pops because look what I picked up. I mentioned this on my review, but I put Steamboat Willie on pre-order at Barnes & Noble's, and they already sold out by the time I got there. And I'm very happy that I got this bad boy. I'm not opening them out of the case though because I have a feeling this might be worth something, so I'm just gonna hold on to this. Granted, it's not. I don't think it's a chase, so I'm not sure it's gonna be worth a lot of money or anything. But it's a special one for me, to say the least. So I'm not opening it out of the box. But very excited to have it. I really want to see if I can find the Brave Little Tailor. That's a great looking figure and a great short too. Let's see who else. What else do we got? So I feel like I get this question a lot, maybe because I'm always talking about my Funko Pop collection. But any Funko Pops that I'd like to see in the future, I'll tell you, there's one Funko Pop that I want to see that isn't Disney, but I guess you could say is kind of, if you consider Marvel being Disney now. But this is back when Spider-Man was a part of Sony and not involved with Disney at all. And I would like to see Spider-Man Funko Pops, but the Sam Raimi Spider-Man Funko Pops. I'd like to see Willem Dafoe Funko Pop. I'd like to see that line of Funko Pops happen. Those would be pops that I'd want to get. Because at this point, I'm positive Disney's going to be making Funko Pops left and right of anything you'd want to see. They're probably going to have a Robin Hood Funko Pop come out sometime in the future, which I'll probably check out. I probably would want to get. So, Gaming Ghost Infinite and the quest of asking for pointless sequels we don't need. What would happen if they made a sequel to Food Fight? I would imagine mass hysteria, cats becoming friends with dogs, all that sort of junk. World coming to an end. But again, just a lot of head scratching as to, why does this exist? I think it'd be even funnier if it were like Nut Job 2 and Food Fight 2 ended up becoming a little bit better than its previous film. Who knows? Maybe, maybe not. But we'll see. Norm of the North sequel. So people have brought this up on Twitter, but the thing is I already knew about this. They announced it as soon as Norm of the North came out. I mean, the movie was supposed to come out on DVD anyways. It wasn't supposed to be a theatrical release, but the studio had faith in it that it would do well in theaters. So they planned on making Norm of the North movies. They planned on making Norm of the North sequels. I'm not going to watch them. Hell with that. But I guess someone will. I saw a trailer for it. It looks pretty bad. But like I said, it's like Land Before Time sequels. No one's going to care. Not a big deal. Clint Lamberson asks, what movies am I going to watch this fall? It's a very good question. I'm definitely going to be watching... No, that's not coming out in the fall. Let me know if Mary Poppins Returns comes out in the fall. If it isn't, I mean, I'm probably going to be watching films in theaters. Anything that really comes out in the theaters, I'll try to catch up on. I do, I recently became a A+ Stubs member for AMC, which is kind of like a Movie Pass membership, except instead of getting crappy deals on movies you see it come out of theaters, and you can get, and you can also get multiple viewings. You know, AMC Stubs, as long as you go to AMC movie theater, gives you better perks than what Movie Pass did. when they were having their perk, just for $10 more. Highly recommend it for all the movie fans out there. Luke A119 asks, what movie would I prefer, Justice League or Star Wars The Last... Okay, so you're asking me which movie do I prefer, Justice League or Star Wars The Last Jedi? Funny thing is that I saw Justice League twice in theaters, and I saw Last Jedi once. However, I'm not going to go out and say that Justice League is a better movie. I think I just had friends that wanted me to go see that movie with them. More forgettable. So I'm going to have to go with Last Jedi. A couple of creative decisions that I wasn't crazy about. I guess it's okay to start spoiling the movie anyways. So, like, a lot of people weren't happy with the creative choices they made for Last Jedi. However, there was something about that movie that I quite enjoyed, and I think because it defied the expectations of being like an Empire Strikes Back knockoff. I like the idea that there's more ambiguity to the Force, of there being a light and dark side. I think there's potential in seeing Rey and Kylo Ren break their trope as to what it means to be a Jedi and what it means to be a Sith. So I thought that was very interesting. I do agree with a lot of people that the First Order is kind of lame in comparison to the what was it, the Republic? Yeah, compared to the Republic. More yelling, more screaming, more immaturity that's been brought up. Plinkett did a great review on it. So did Jeremy Johns, actually mentioned it too. Let's see here. So, not the Chosen One asks me if I have any thoughts on the world of Gumball. I do have a couple thoughts on the Amazing World of Gumball. It's a great show. It's one of the best cartoons on Cartoon Network that I know of. Excuse me 1 second. It's funny, when Gumball first came out, a lot of people weren't looking forward to it. However, the show was on TV for a while, and then suddenly, everybody enjoyed it, including myself. It was like when I was requested to review Mr. Pickles, people were like, oh my god, the show is horrible, like, what are you going to say and everything? It's like, oh, this is going to be so bad, it's going to be so horrible. It wasn't that bad. I don't know. Internet extremities on things just coming out seem to be bigger, more overblown, and just kind of dumber, if you ask me. But yeah, Amazing World of Gumball is a great show. It's a legit show. Let's see. My man! Animation analysis. Let's see. Nice to see you too. Zombie Power says he likes The Godfather Part 3. Well, that's good for you. I guess you prefer Sophia Coppola's wonderful acting. Dad? God, she was horrible in that. This question was asked me already about Straczynski and the Mysterious House of whatever the hell. I haven't seen that movie yet, so maybe I'll watch it. Who knows? Let's see. What are my thoughts about the new show Amphibia? So I saw the Comic-Con preview. Basically, it was just the intro, and I have two thoughts going into a show like that. I kind of wish I did a review on it, but I think around the time that I would have made the video, I don't think the YouTube algorithm would have preferred that I make something like that. Then again, I don't know what the hell the YouTube algorithm would want me to do anyways. But I am victim to the all-knowing YouTube algorithm. So, like, new cartoon on Disney XD, and I guess two thoughts are going in my head. One, it's got a very good theme song, like a very catchy theme song. And it kind of reminds me of, like, this isn't the second thought I have, but it's actually a thought I just thought of right now. But the idea of, like, a group of humans going into this cross dimension has a very 80s vibe. Almost sounds like Captain N, except not with video games, with a world of frogs. But the other thing that's kind of weird about it is that it does have a very strong connection to Gravity Falls. And I'm kind of worried because I feel like with Adventure Time, when a show becomes really popular, even SpongeBob, when a show becomes really popular, that dictates the trend that's going to follow for the next few years. And while I think Gravity Falls is an amazing show, you can't deny that what comes after is going to lead to, like, essentially clones. I'm hoping it's not going to be a clone, of Gravity Falls, and it's going to be its own thing. But I'm just getting the vibe that it kind of just seems like it's striking a little too close to the Gravity Falls cloth, if you ask me. Let's see here. Any other questions I get? Hello, Octavian. How are you doing? Let's see here. What are my most anticipated animated films next year? So are you talking about 2019 and not 2018? That's a very good question. Maybe because my foresight really sucks, I didn't really look into the films that are coming out in 2019, other than I think Lego Movie 2 and How to Train Your Dragon 3. I mean, there's probably going to be other animated films coming out. There just wasn't enough promotional image or promotional work to be shown. Like, I remember when Book of Life was in production for a really long time. It was like, oh, it's going to be coming out in 2014. This is going to be the date. And back then I was just like, I don't really think it's going to come out. And then out of nowhere, like 2 months before the movie came out, we actually get like promotional images for it. And then it's like, oh, this looks cool. But yeah, I didn't even know that Shaun the Sheep was getting a sequel. So I'm kind of excited about that. Kind of excited. See, I agree with you, Zombie Powder. There were a lot of good aspects. It's a Godfather movie. I mean, when people say Godfather 2 is a bad... Godfather Part 3 is a bad movie, they're just comparing it to the other ones, you know, in comparison to those other films. Like, how could we deny the line, I tried to get out, but they bring me back in? You know? That's iconic. Sopranos pretty much talked the hell out of that scene. Chad Hawksworth asks, I know this is proving to be fake, but what would you think about a 90s Nicktoons crossover movie? So, when it was announced, they said they got the director of Napoleon Dynamite to basically make a Looney Tunes back-in-action type crossover film, but with the characters from Nicktoons. And I actually heard that, and I was like, that would be very interesting, but I'll tell you one thing. There'd be no way in hell they would get Ren and Stimpy in there, and Ren and Stimpy was such a staple to 90s Nicktoons. If they do get him, John K. wouldn't be involved, especially now. In fact, I would argue that's probably been one of the things that have been holding back a movie like that, is because Ren and Stimpy is such a staple to 90s nostalgia, but that creator is just such a weird bag of cats waiting to be loose. That movie would have been weird. Justin Roiland's rejected Cartoon Network show Dog World with Frogs. Yeah, that's a good point. Though probably not as adult as Dog World. I remember they actually made an episode of Rick and Morty that connected Dog World to Rick and Morty. So Dog World's canon, everybody. Dog World's just go on YouTube, look it up. You'll know what I mean. I don't watch Milo's Murphy's Law or Phineas and Ferb. I think I should. I think it's about time I check that show out. Like I said, it's funny, especially when you don't have a cable package. But I have Hulu, so I could probably watch it on Hulu. Of course, I remember Disney's House of Mouse, not the Chosen One. I like saying the username, not the Chosen One. I did a review of the Christmas special about a year ago. You can go check that out. But I definitely remember Disney's House of Mouse. Everybody wants to have more complex stories, cartoons, when not all cartoons need to be complex. That's a very good point. Sometimes it's good for a cartoon to just be silly gags, you know? People have just big ambitions and big hopes as to what cartoons should be, and it's like, no, it shouldn't be like that. I think a lot of people were thrown off by Family Guy because they tried to incorporate more storyline-based stuff, when in actuality, Family Guy doesn't really have a continuity that's as strong as, say, something like Futurama or The Simpsons. And I think it's funny when you consider that Matt Groening and Seth MacFarlane are good friends. I always find it very funny that in the episode Game of Thrones, which is the season 10 of Futurama, Seth MacFarlane plays the voice of Seymour in a dream. Seymour Fry's dog. So I think that's funny. It's like almost like Seth MacFarlane has something he envies out of Matt Groening. And I guess Matt Groening probably... I think Matt Groening just kind of appreciates everything that comes out in animation-wise. That I can't really say the same with the Apu controversy. Which is interesting, to say the least. It's very interesting. Animat's going to review Open Season. He better not break his promise. I hope so, too. We got it on tape that he thought it was good, so remember that. so people can point that out to him. And then go back to my video, so at least my video can get some hits too. Hey, Joe Tedesco, what are your thoughts about the film Ready Player One based on the book? One, I've never read the book, and number two, I've never seen the movie yet. But it's funny. The promotion for that movie is kind of like my Funko Pops, where it's like, imagine this as a movie. I'm pointing to my facetious, invisible wall of Funko Pops. Should a Frozen sequel be about Anna getting fire powers? That would be pretty neat. I don't know, I think it'd be kind of cool for someone to get fire powers. It would kind of be like, what was that Rankin Bass movie special with the Heatmeister and the King of Ice? I forgot what the ice guy's name was. But it would be something like that. It was like something about Santa Claus quitting his job. That would be Frozen too. It'd be kind of funny. But Disney would probably have to own the rights to Rankin Bass's shorts, so don't give them any ideas. I mean, they pretty much bought out like 75% of entertainment as of now. Let's see. Do you like to see Edgar Wright direct an animation movie or a Pixar? And okay, so let me reread that. Do you want to see Edgar Wright direct a Disney animated film or a Pixar animated film? And I think that's a very good question. I don't think he should do either. Disney and Pixar movies have a very unique way of hiring their directors, where they have animators who have been with the company work their way up to become writers and directors. And should they take on outside influence, it should be somebody within the concept department, maybe as an executive producer. They've done that with Mike Mignola for Atlantis: The Lost Empire, and they've done that with the artist behind Pink Floyd's The Wall with the movie Hercules. I always get a kick about talking about that. Same said for Salvador Dali. I think because Disney has had such a tight grip on how they make their movies, having outside influence take on directing would just seem odd. Although we are talking about Edgar Wright, I will say that they consulted Edgar Wright about the car chase scene. Not Edgar Wright, they consulted the stunt double, the stunt coordinator for Baby Driver to talk about car chases and consult him about how to do a car chase for the upcoming Wreck-It Ralph 2. So that's exciting. And since I'm here to make a random plug, don't forget to check out my collaboration project if you're a filmmaker, animator, or just general enthusiast who loves Steamboat Willie, to check out my Google spreadsheet, my Google Doc on how to be a part of a Steamboat Willie collab. So you're more than welcome. So let's see here. So it's a running gag that I don't expect a lot of people to know, especially if you just got into my videos. But a couple years ago, I had Animat go on my review series for a small cameo bit where I give a negative review for Cloudy 2. He tells me to feed into the power, feed into the rage, kind of like in Star Wars, and then I tell him it's just a mediocre film, which then led to a whole bunch of running gags that a bunch of longtime viewers have always pointed between me and him. That video has always been an interesting discussion, interesting talking point for most fans. Do I think Animat has a problem with Sony Pictures Animation? Do I think the priest is Catholic? Yes, I do think he has a problem with Sony Pictures Animation, but that's his alone. I'm not going to go into that. Let's see. Well, you're very welcome, Animation Analysis. Funko Pops are a nice thing to bring the room together. Let's just say that. And the funny thing is that I got into Funko Pops because I wanted to make more action figures. I actually wanted to get into sculpting again, and I liked using them for reference. Let's see. And that's the thing. Chris Sanders was a unique animator, but he was already a storyboard artist at Disney. He was working on Beauty and the Beast, so it wasn't like he was an outsider. He was within the company ranks. Chad Hawksworth asks me, did I grow up watching Pokemon or Digimon? I grew up with Pokemon, and I stopped at Digimon. And since we are talking about Pokemon, a couple of weeks ago, I brought together all my cards, and I wanted to get them evaluated. They're not worth anything. I even have one card, I won't say which one it is. It's probably a more expensive card, but I'm not going to say which one it is. But not worth a lot of money, but it's still worth something. Just put that out there. Zombie Powder asks, I know you love Kim Possible. What do I think of the infamous Kim Go ship? Kigo ship. Are you saying they've been shipping Kim Possible with Shigo? That's wrong. Spaz. No. Gonna review Sidekick in Scaredy Squirrel. What the hell is that? I've never heard of that. Maybe put a link to that. I've never heard of this. The internet provides you with just such interesting things. It's like, I don't get how people talk about quitting review series because there's not enough material out there. Like, the internet will prove you wrong. You will find something out there they'll give you plenty of stuff to talk about, trust me. If you ever want to get into reviewing, never shortchange yourself. You learn about new stuff every day, don't you? Sony Anime. We're back on the Sony thing with Animat. I feel like anytime I talk about Animat, we always got to talk about Sony Pictures. Let's just let it go. If I worked on The Simpsons, what would I do with the show? That's a very good question. I probably wouldn't do anything and just make a lot of money. What, write an episode or something? Yeah, I'll write an episode. I'll go into the writer's room, which will probably have 5 or 10 writers in there. I'll throw in a suggestion. That'll be my suggestion. I'll clock in and clock out. I'm being very practical. That's what I would do because it's a job. Maybe do a couple storyboards here and there. Offer some suggestions. Will it save the show? Probably not. But I'd make a lot of money doing it, though. That'd be funny. I mean, it would be fun to work on The Simpsons, a prestigious show like that. But it's got so many people on board. I don't think you could really have a unique voice with that show. You kind of just let it be. Because there's just so many hands in the pot as it is. Let's see here. What makes Yakety Yak better than Breadwinners? So that's funny because I remember both shows. I remember Yakety Yak having the theme song of the song, the actual Yakety Yak song. And I was like, they made a show based on a song. But then again, Cat Dog was just inspired by a quick jingle the show creator made. And then it just led to people asking how they go to the bathroom. Anytime you talk about Cat Dog, they always talk about how those characters go to the bathroom. But Breadwinners comes out, and it's funny because if we were to talk about Breadwinners, the animated short, and not Breadwinners, the animated series, it would never get nearly as much hate as it does. I think, you gotta remember, back when this came out, I think it was the Shorts program Nicktoons had, and Breadwinners was actually a well-made animated short that got the attention. It wasn't nearly as gross out as the TV show would end up being, but you know, people liked it. I guess as a TV show, people didn't expect it to turn out the way it did. But then again, I think because the guys who created that short were just getting into filmmaking and making a TV series, probably didn't have the experience or know-how to really have something consistent, or at least what they thought would work for the show just generally didn't work for their audience. So I don't know. So yeah, Animation Fan, I already talked about Northern North 2 trailers, so I'm not going to rehash that, but if you want to ask in the stream, people will probably update you on that. A Molina 44, how you doing, buddy? He asks me my favorite underrated animated movie. Wow. I was actually just thinking about underrated films, and not animated, but I guess because I was watching the pilot to the show Kidding with Jim Carrey, directed by Mikhail Gondry, I was thinking about the film Be Kind, Rewind. That film gets a lot of hate. Not hate. It doesn't get the reaction it does, but I think it's a brilliant movie. But that's a live action film. That's probably one of my favorite underrated films. But as far as animated films go, probably Ice Age. I don't think it gets talked about as much as it does. I think it's a significant film when you consider Blue Sky's filmography. As far as animated films go, I think this was like the first computer animated film to make cartoon characters and animation work like hand-drawn. for the technology that they had at the time, it was pretty significant. And I think it was a great first film to get the ball rolling for that studio. A lot of opinions on Blue Sky Animation, but I would say that's probably one of my favorite underrated films. I mean, it has its audience, but not nearly the audience as, say, like Shrek or any popular Disney movie around that time. So let's see here. Favorite Nickelodeon TV show? Oh, actually, before I answer that, I got a couple other questions. Everybody's going in about Mickey Mouse's birthday. I don't understand why George Carlin... Is there a George Carlin special coming out? Because that'd be kind of exciting. Let's see here. Adventure Time series finale is tomorrow. Yes, it is. And I don't have cable, so I can't watch it, unfortunately. So, I would love to find out how it is. That show's really come a long way. I think before watching the series finale, I'm going to revisit that whole show. And by the time I revisit it on Hulu, the series finale will probably be posted already. It's a very fast show to pick up, let's just be honest. My favorite Nickelodeon show, are we talking live action or animated? Because my favorite Nickelodeon show of all time is Rugrats. I'll throw in Avatar the last Airbender because I'd be stupid not to do that. But if we're talking live action, you know, Drake and Josh gets a lot of hate, but I think all that, as far as legacy goes, I think that's like one of the best ones that's worked for the show. And probably one of their game shows. I wouldn't say which one it is, but one of their game shows I would say is being favorite. It's hard to really narrow down a favorite of anything. You'd have to go by category, like favorite animated series, favorite Nickelodeon game show, favorite Nickelodeon live action show. You can't really just say one over the other because they're unique in such ways, you know? Jesus Christ, my head looks swollen. Chad Hawksworth, you talk about the Kaide 2 video. Yeah, like I said, I'm gonna hold off on talking about him. I mean, he's doing his own thing with the videos. I just find we already talked about it, so let's why we gotta talk about that more. So, any Scooby-Doo crossover I'd like to see, and the weirdest one that I can think of, Scooby-Doo meets Rick and Morty, make it happen. I mean, we kind of saw like a Rick and Morty, I mean, we kind of saw a Scooby-Doo episode done in Futurama, so I can't say Scooby-Doo meets Futurama. I would say either Scooby-Doo meets The Simpsons, or Scooby-Doo meets Rick and Morty. I would want to see that happen. That's gotta happen. What year was I born? Let me ask you something, Chad. If I asked you how old you were, would it change your life? Would it matter? And be honest. If I told you how old I was, would that matter to you? Like, why would it matter if I told you how old I was? That'll be my answer for that question. And you give me a response to that, and then I will decide where we can go from there. No, see, that's the thing. George Carlin is dead, so I'm saying like a TV special, like a biopic or like a documentary based on him. Someone just mentioned that in the comment section, so that's what I guess I should have clarified that. What is worst? Swan Princess sequels or Alpha and Omega sequels? See, that's the thing. I wasn't. I didn't even watch the first Alpha and Omega movie. But I did watch the Swan Princess sequels when they were in their height. I didn't see the CG ones. And the funny thing is I actually purchased a couple of them for a planned retrospective I had planned on doing. But I haven't gotten around to it because that would have been a horrible idea. Yeah, a lot of love for Drake and Josh. That's a great show. Very memorable. Works for a lot of people. I like that it's on Hulu. It's very hard to find Drake and Josh on video. Is it on video? Because I can't find it anywhere. Well, of course I heard of Osmosis Jones. I mean, I was around when it came out. I saw it. Didn't see it in theaters. I saw it on video. And I don't know if I talked about this in the other stream, but I think it's funny how much that movie understands the body, but like does it in a way where it's not completely dumb, but it's a dumb movie, don't get me wrong, but very well made, but a lot of the stuff was very trendy and dated, and the live action stuff is just stupid. So yeah, those are my thoughts, quick thoughts on Osmosis Jones. Naked. Oh, look at that! Scooby-Doo is getting a new show called Scooby-Doo Guess Who. That's exciting. That's fun. That's pretty fun. Looking forward to that. I don't know what the art style is going to be like. I feel like they're always changing the art styles to these shows, so it'd be interesting to see. I'm surprised no one talked about my poster. This is my Leica poster I got from the studio. I guess they had some extra Comic-Con posters that they were mailing out, and I really wanted to pick one up. Let's see here. Deadpool 2 Super... I really want to see the Super Duper cut. The problem is I don't have a Blu-ray player. So I think I'm going to get a Blu-ray player before I see Deadpool 2. I mean, I'm probably going to pick it up at some point. Maybe before I go see my folks. They have a Blu-ray player. Let's see here. Ever heard of Rebel Taxi? Of course I have. Jim and Nolan follow me on Twitter, and I follow them back. They, I wouldn't say we communicate a lot, but I'm aware of them, and I watched a few of their podcasts before, so I'm familiar with Rebel Taxi. It seems like we're holding off on some questions right now. Oh, okay. I do want to address this before I get myself some water, but Wile E. Coyote, I don't know if people have heard about this, but Wile E. Coyote is getting his own movie, and it's called Coyote vs. Acme. And I'm just going to be honest with you, but that sounds like a very cool idea. Like, I know a lot of people are like hesitant, it's like, oh, it's going to be like a live-action CG thing, it's going to be weird, live-action cartoon movie. The problem with most films that are announced, they don't announce the concept behind these movies. This one, on the other hand, is giving you the idea behind this film. Coyote versus Acme. Wile E. Coyote is pissed off. He wants to get revenge against the Acme Corporation. That's a movie I think any of us have wanted to see. It's been brought up in cartoons. It's kind of like when people talked about Alien versus Predator, the concept behind an Alien versus Predator movie being really cool, as opposed to actually, you know, what we got. You know? So yeah. I would love to see that. I'm very excited, and they have the two writers from Always Sunny working on it, so I'm kind of excited to see where they go with a project like that. You got a concept like that. So listen, come up with some other questions, but in the meantime, I'm gonna quit myself a quick cup of water. Tell you what, while I go get myself a quick glass of water, let me go play some music. That's a good idea, right? Jazz music. Just general jazz music. Awesome. Here's your elevator music while I go get myself a quick glass of water. And we're back. Good idea, right? I didn't think that would work. Let's see what people thought about that. Quick little trans. I had to get myself some water. I was really thirsty. Non-copyrighted jets. Exactly. So I didn't know that Chris McKay would be working on Coyote versus Acme movie. Oh wow. There's a lot of questions I gotta catch up on. So Al Land Leo asks, do I watch Adventure Time and what's my favorite episode and least favorite episode? So like most people, one of my favorite episodes, I stopped watching the season when the last episode that I saw would probably have been the episode when we discover, and this is how far back it is, so I got a lot of catching up to do, when Jake learns that he has a brother, and he learns that he's not a dog, but he's like some sort of alien. So there's a lot of catching up I gotta do, let's just say that. Well, that's good for you, Nathan Nathaniel. Got to meet them at the MomoCon. I'll probably get to meet, I know Jim's going to New York Comic Con, and I'm going to go to New York Comic Con, so I'll probably bump into them. I probably won't. It's a big convention. Do I read any manga? No, but I watch some anime. I mean, I think it's not at a point where reading it is like a specific club of people. It's just kind of is now. It's like you read something here, you read something there. It's not as big of a deal as it's like 5 to 10 years ago. Chris McKay is working on Coyote vs. Acme. Well, that's very exciting. Now I'm very excited for this movie. That's good to know. Let's see here. Was I interested in doing an animation course or thought about going to college in that aspect? Of course I did, but then I realized that if I pursued a career in the arts, I would have a harder time maintaining a lifestyle that I don't know, want, I guess. A lot of soul searching as to what I wanted to do in my life, and kind of found myself at a good place where I am right now, but I'm always, I don't know, to me, I feel like art and animation is always something that I could do on the side, but never really go to school for. I was always dabbling with it, that I never really found the need to really take it in a course, which I no disrespect to anybody who does go to school to become an animator or goes to school to become a filmmaker. You do that, that's good for you, that's your direction in life. I just never really found it to be something that I needed to do, per se. I mean, it was always something I just did on the side. Chad, I'm not going to answer any more of these types of questions. Where I am and how old I am, that's going a little too deep, and I don't understand the need for you to know this sort of stuff, so no. I'm not going to answer that sort of questions. Clint asks me, have I seen Mr. Plinkett The Last Jedi? I have seen it. It's a very good review. What do I define as good character design? That is a very good question, but you know, I always feel like everybody tries to determine a good science as to what works about character design. I mean, it really depends on the tone of show you're going for, or a tone of movie you're going for. It's a lot like fashion, you know, depending on current tastes. I mean, we have to take into consideration the world, the setting you're in. Impacts the character design, because it's like, people try to say like there's a specific art to it, a specific way it works, but I mean, we have characters that move, that defy some of the 12 principles of animation. If you go and study animation, you know about 12 principles like squash and stretch, arcs, and easing in, easing out, when it comes to like what makes good animation. But somehow there's always going to be like a change, then the character will still work. I mean, South Park's kind of a testament to that. Let's see here. So yeah, I don't really have a specific answer. It really just depends on the type of show, right? Let's see here. Have I heard of the new cartoons that coming out on? Yeah, I can't really read any of this. My English is so funky. Yeah, I've talked about Amphibia a while back on this stream, and I haven't heard of Owl House. I think that's the one that Alex Hirsch's girlfriend is working on, so I think it's like a horror type animated show. Looks kind of cool. So then again, hoping it's not going to be a Gravity Falls clone. I mean, but we'll see. I don't think I really hate Eight Crazy Nights, but I don't. No, actually, I take that back. I do kind of hate that film. I haven't seen it again because I find no reason to see it again. Of course I love Captain Crunch. Who doesn't, my man? Captain Crunch is like one of the best cereals out there. Thank you, Zombie Powder. I appreciate that. Sorry I missed your question, Morgan. Morgan Ledger, the host of Vaulting, is on this stream. How you doing? Give Morgan a good hello. He asked me about my thoughts on kidding, and I didn't really get a chance to talk about it as much. I kind of brought it up, but I mentioned on Twitter that I wanted to talk about it on the stream and even make a video on it. So the filmmaker Mikhail Gondry has been out of the game for a while. I mean, he's done some stuff here and there. I wouldn't say since he directed Green Hornet. We haven't seen any films by him. So, like, he directed Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, Science Asleep. I've seen Eternal Sunshine, and I love that movie. It used to be one of my favorite films of all time, but I have to revisit it again to really make that statement again. And like I said, Be Kind Rewind is an underrated movie. I actually love that movie more than most people do. For the sheer fact that it was marketed the wrong way. I mean, people were just expecting it to be a movie about making movies, like guys just making movies really cheaply. When there's something deeper to it, it's kind of like this idea of community and how filmmaking brings communities together and just the power of storytelling through filmmaking. You know, and there's something very good about that. There's something very cool about that. And cool is a good word to put that movie. But anyways, he directed the first episode to a series starring Jim Carrey, not co-star, he starred in Eternal Sunshine, which kind of takes the idea of what if Mr. Rogers gone crazy. So, like, Jim Carrey plays a Mr. Rogers type of character, but I'm also going to throw in Jim Henson in there as well. I'm an amalgam of Jim Henson and Mr. Rogers. I mean, if Mr. Rogers had a bigger production budget than what Mr. Rogers originally had. And I guess I'll spoil this because this is the crux of the show, but something happens to him which personally affects him, and it challenges him in a way which really challenges the way he thinks about the world and how he maintains a certain attitude about the world. And I thought it was very cool. I thought it was very interesting. It's very adult, so it's on YouTube, but it's censored, heavily censored, so be careful, watch it at your own risk. Very NSFW. But I thought it was very cool, very interesting. I think it speaks for a lot of people that work with children on what it is to be positive, but also be practical and acknowledge that the world sucks and how it is you live in this cool world. That's the tagline of the show, Hello Cool World. I like it. I've always loved Jim Carrey as an actor. I think he puts in so much passion to what he does. Always loved Jim Carrey. So let's see here. Let's see if we got any other questions. The Bumblebee movie. Yeah, so Bumblebee is coming out, and I think that looks interesting. Haley Steinfeld is in it. It's being directed by CEO of Leica Animation, Travis Stone? Travis something. We'll just call him Travis. He's directing the movie, and looks decent, but it's a Transformers film, so I don't really have that much attachment to it. I never really did have attachment to Transformers as characters, but that's just me. So, I've heard of Dragon Prince, and I kind of talked about this on the last stream, but I guess I'll bring it up again. But Dragon Prince is a new Netflix animated series created by one of the writers of Korra, Last Airbender, and one of the head writers of Futurama, mind you, creating an anime-inspired show. It's fantasy set. I heard it's got like a Romeo and Juliet type of fantasy vibe to it, very anime influenced. That art style, though, it's got like this choppy, low frame rate type of animation choppiness that kind of reminds me of the Bleach reboot, I guess. That's kind of throwing me off, so yeah. I don't know. It's cool that he's making a show, though. Favorite animation mascot advertisement? When I was a kid, I loved Sunny. That was cool. Sunny from Cocoa Puffs. I don't even think he does anything anymore. I mean, you know, Mickey Mouse is pretty much an advertisement as it is, so I guess I'll have to go with Mickey Mouse on that one. The Simpsons Futurama crossover is a good episode. I was actually thinking about that earlier today. Like most people, though, I don't think it was really canon to like anything that goes on in Futurama. I feel like it kind of defies it feels more like a Simpsons episode doing Futurama rather than a Futurama episode doing The Simpsons. I will say, though, with Disenchanted coming out and the nods they make to Futurama being a part of that world, I think it would be really cool to see a Futurama Disenchanted crossover. That'd be kind of cool. If people haven't noticed, but there have been a couple of Easter eggs to Futurama in Disenchanted, which is kind of like a staple in Matt Groening. They always just drop in little hints saying, "You created this." Do I have any sort of fascination with lost media and any type of entertainment? I think anybody does when it comes to rediscovering something that, you know, either you revisited when you were a kid and watching it again. I mean, this is kind of dorky, but I'll bring it up. But growing up, there were a lot of Bible movies, like Bible Man. Remember Bible Man, everybody? Like, we knew that was a stupid idea back then, but people are like revisiting it now, just enjoying the stupidness that was something like Bible Man. You know, God forbid I just wanted Sunday Mass for me saying something like that, but that was a dumb show. Tried to have good morals, tried to make a Catholic Christian superhero that's hip and cool for the kids. Like, I don't know. This is interesting. Can I talk about what Smurfs The Lost Village did right and what DreamWorks Trolls did wrong? I don't know. I feel like comparing those two is a little too random. Other than that, you have characters that are somewhat inspired by Smurfs. I don't know. I guess you could say the Trolls are a lot like Smurfs in a way. But I'll be real with you. I reviewed Smurfs The Lost Village. I had the review done, but the file was corrupted while I was editing it, and there was a lot going on that summer that I was making that review that I just didn't get around to doing it. Maybe I'll do another review at some point that's more like the style I'm doing now. But I don't know. I don't feel the need to really compare those two. Let's see. I hear if Big Hero 6's series is successful enough, there's a chance that they'll make a spin-off series about Honey Lemon and Go-Go, done in the same computer animation as the movie. I don't know how they would pull that off for TV. It'll probably be like low render. You know, the rendering and textures will not nearly be as good. I haven't seen the new Big Hero 6 series. I know they have it on DVD, the first episode, kind of like they did with Gargoyles and DuckTales. So I might want to check that out. Do you have any TV show or video game that deserves a movie? Yes. Sonic the Hedgehog, obviously. No, I'm just kidding. That's going to happen though anyways. My roommate right now is playing God of War. I think that would make a pretty cool film. But I will say I do have hopes for a cartoon Crash Bandicoot movie. I just think that would be a fun film to see. But that's just my opinion. I am going to Comic-Con. I got my passes for Comic-Con, so if anybody wants to meet up at Comic-Con, just throwing that out there. New York Comic-Con, I'll be there. Maybe I'll do like a little meetup with some fans at New York Comic-Con. If anybody's into that, just let me know. So I didn't see the DuckTales series finale, but I did. By the way, how you doing, Brandon? I did see the new Magic and Dispel character design. I was a little worried at first when they showed the preview that she's kind of like got these lizard-like eyes, but then they showed the actual final design, and I was like, yo, Magica's banging. She looked good. A very good redesign of Magic Dispel. She's green, though. I don't know how I feel about Magic Dispel being green. They should have just kept her white, like all the other characters. I don't know. It was kind of like when they made Bugs Bunny purple in the Looney Tunes show. It just seemed odd. It just didn't seem to work for me. But the design looked very cool. Why? Battery Acid Barry asks a question that I have no idea how to respond to, so good luck with that one. Oh yeah. So I am looking forward to Into the Spider-Verse. Nathaniel, you asked about. Sadly, I'd imagine Sonny from Cocoa Puffs being in rehab, along with Wendell or other characters that would be in rehab. Plenty of cartoon characters. Really one of those serials. Probably the Tricks Rabbit. He's probably like a manic depressive at this point. No offense to any manic depressives out there. Mental health advocate out here. Have I ever played Eggs for Bart video game? No, I have not. But again, I have to answer the Spider-Man question. I did talk about that on our stream, but I am looking forward to that film. That looks really cool. It's okay. Ryan, you're always showing up late for these streams. How dare you? No, I'm just kidding. Captain Crunch may or may not have been... Oh, come on. Now we're just going on a roll with all these weird questions about cereal mascots. Let's see here. Let's do a quick search. Oh, cool. Got a lot of people watching the stream. Appreciate that. So the red shirt, I got this at a convention, at a counseling convention 2 years ago. I actually wore this another stream I did, but thank you. It's a good shirt. I like it. Rugrats movie was a musical because it was made during Disney. Yeah, I'm familiar with that. That was just the popular thing in animated films. And to be real, a lot of animated films do popular tropes. I mean, characters that remind you of Minions are always showing up in animated films. I mean, you got characters that look like Minions because they do well. Oh, no. In Looney Tunes show, instead of being gray, the first season, he had like a purple tint to him. Look it up. It was a thing. Would I like to see Spyro the Dragon animated film? Sure. I think that could work. Rain Man, I don't know how that would work as an animated film. I think the lore in that's a little bit more complicated. What do I think about the news? Okay, I do know about that. You can go watch my video where I talk about my thoughts about that. Not to throw you away from my stream, but you can go watch that. Ah! I like Battery Acid Barry. You're a funny guy. Why was Jesus not born in Ireland? Because 3 wise men and a virgin weren't even available. Ha ha! Much hatred. Much Irish people are going to take hate with that. That was a funny one. No, I didn't see the Gong Show reboot. I haven't even seen the original Gong Show. I have seen a few episodes of the Rocky and Bullwinkle TV series, but not for the other movies. I know I should see Troll Hunter. I hear that's a really good show. And Voltron. I did actually... Okay, so I did watch that first season of Voltron. I should really go back to finishing that show, because that show's got like a really big fan base. I would like to see The Incredibles. Now, so I take that back. I wouldn't see The Incredibles and Big Hero 6 in the same universe. They kind of have their own thing going on. I could see Big Hero 6 being in a Marvel universe, as it should be, since they're Marvel characters. Yeah, I actually got to catch up with Matt's series of videos on, actually. So I hate doing this, because I actually got to go on a call at 4 o'clock, but I figure I'll answer a few more questions and then I'll stop the stream. So someone asks me about, they asked Carty Caleb about best backseat film. But I'll answer that anyways. Heavy Traffic's my favorite Ralph Bakshi film. My least favorite movie of 2018. That's a very good question. I don't know, actually. I want to say like the movie that just left me the most disappointed. I don't think I have an answer for that yet. I don't know. Think about that for a bit. I don't think I really saw anything. I really saw anything that was bad per se, but that probably did. So I don't really have an answer for So as far as guests at Comic-Con, they still haven't announced all the guests that are going to be there, but I would like to see some creators. Um, I would like to pick up the New Day wrestlers Funko Pops and see if I could have New Day, if they are going to go to New York Comic Con, have them sign that. That'd be pretty dope. What cartoons would I like to be seen in a shared universe? Hanna-Barbera, obviously. I'd love to see that be a cinematic universe, hands down. And yeah, I'd say, let's see if there's maybe one more question I could answer. There is favorite live-action theatrical Nickelodeon movie. You know what? Because it's considered a Nicktoons... I'm going to do a quick Google search for this. Correct me if I'm wrong, but is School of Rock a Nickelodeon movie? I'm going to quickly search that. Hold on a second. Hold on. School of Rock. School of Rock. School of Rock. Because I remember reading somewhere that this was produced by Nickelodeon. No, it wasn't produced by Nickelodeon, so I can't say School of Rock would be wouldn't actually be considered a Nickelodeon live action movie. But I wish it was, because that would have been my favorite. Let's do it. Wait a minute. No, it got adapted into a TV series on Nickelodeon, so I guess that kind of counts. So let's see. Live action films. Let's do a quick Google search here. And then we'll make this my last question of the day. Nickelodeon movies. So let's see here. There's no list. So I remember Snow Day. You know what? Screw it. Clock Stoppers. I'd say, like, just by going off of this list right now, Clock Stoppers would probably have been my favorite one. Because I'm looking through this list, it ain't getting any better. But I enjoyed the hell out of Clock Stoppers. That was a fun movie. Avatar: The Last Airbender, obviously. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, School of Rock wouldn't count as a live-action Nickelodeon movie. It's a Paramount movie, but I could have sworn it was. Let's see. So yeah, Clock Stoppers would be my favorite one, and I think that will be my last question. Oh yeah, by the way, I would like to see Impractical Jokers. Staten Island, represent. I would like to see them at the convention. They're probably going to be there too. So I think I'm going to wrap up the stream right now. It's fun doing these streams. It's cool seeing everybody just sort of respond to just questions I have. So that's cool. It's fun making these videos. Take care. I'm probably going to have another review either tomorrow. No, definitely. I wouldn't have time to make a review for tomorrow. Have a good Labor Day, by the way. I will say this. As far as holidays go, how cool is it that Labor Day is a holiday we appreciate as adults when we're actually in the workforce than we were as kids where we didn't know what the hell Labor Day was? Just throwing that out there. Take care, everybody.